When chatting about the crypto world, it's impossible to avoid discussing the so-called crypto winter of 2022. Stablecoin collapses triggered a domino effect, toppling major players in the market one after another. The most significant was the collapse of the FTX exchange, which many dubbed the Lehman Brothers moment for cryptocurrencies. But the purpose of today's video isn't to rehash these events, because let's be honest, that would be pretty dry. Instead, we aim to explore the essence of these stories by delving into one of the most dramatic and legendary exchange collapses. 2009 marked the birth of Bitcoin. From the moment it came into existence, Bitcoin carried a rebellious spirit in its DNA. As a completely virtual currency, it operated outside the control of any central bank or financial institution, igniting anti-establishment sentiments and resonating deeply with those disillusioned by traditional financial systems. However, these enthusiasts often share a common trait, a deep-seated lack of trust, either due to natural skepticism or distrust of others. They prefer to place their faith in algorithms and technology over human cunning. By 2013, Gerald, our story's protagonist, launched a startup in Vancouver, Canada, called QuadrigaCX. The company specializes in cryptocurrency trading, with its simplest function being the exchange of Bitcoin for USD, earning a small transaction fee in the process. Gerald was a genius, universally admired by those who knew him. Besides his brilliance, he came across as a kind, sunny boy next door who rarely lost his temper. After founding QuadrigaCX, Gerald attracted numerous crypto enthusiasts who saw him as a beacon of hope for Bitcoin's legitimization. As Bitcoin's price soared, reaching $18,000 by 2016, many people amassed fortunes. When QuadrigaCX was founded in 2013, Bitcoin was worth only $100. Just 3 years later, it had become the world's hottest cryptocurrency. QuadrigaCX fortunes grew alongside it. Initially, it was a small operation handling just a few Bitcoin transactions daily, but within a year, it had become Canada's largest and most active exchange, drawing in regions of would-be crypto millionaires. Naturally, Gerald himself became immensely wealthy, frequently appearing in interviews and at conferences. He was living the dream, but not all of his users were so lucky. Zhou Tong, a Chinese-Canadian software developer working in San Francisco, was among those caught up in the crypto frenzy. Despite his well-paying job, the grind had worn him down. After 8 years of hard work, he decided to quit and travel. However, upon reconnecting with old friends, he realized many were doing far better than him financially, thanks to Bitcoin. Some had even made enough to buy Lamborghinis on a whim, much to Zhou's envy. Determined not to miss out, Zhou analyzed the market and took out loans in 6 figures from 3 banks, pouring it all into cryptocurrency market. Like many others, he fell into the trap of chasing rising prices, unwilling to settle for slow, steady gains. Meanwhile, Gerald had his sights set on global expansion. Canada's crypto trading volume accounted for just 1% of the global market. As Gerald's fame grew, so did his spending. He purchased planes, yachts, mansions, even an island. But his lavish lifestyle contrasted starkly with the fortunes of crypto investors as the market began to crash. Bitcoin, which had skyrocketed, now plummeted. By December 2018, its value had dropped to $4,000, wiping out 40% of its value and erasing $60 billion from the market. Many investors, including Zhou Tong, were ruined. Zhou's original investment had dwindled. Over-leveraged, he faced mounting debt and was forced to sell personal belongings to pay it off. Although he managed to clear his debt, his once promising life had been utterly derailed. Hoping to salvage his finances, Zhou turned to Bitcoin once more, using QuadrigaCX to convert his money. At the time, the exchange offered a promotion, a 10% rebate on Bitcoin sales, which is massive. Trusting Canada's largest exchange, Zhou transferred all of his remaining balance and sold it for Bitcoin, intending to convert it back. However, when he attempted to withdraw all his funds, the system stalled. Days turned into weeks, and Zhou realized he wasn't alone. Reports of withdrawal issues flooded in from other users. A journalist investigating the matter contacted Gerald, who responded with a seemingly sincere explanation. Banks were freezing crypto-related accounts due to lack of trust in the industry. Gerald assured the journalist that the issue was temporary and that they were working on resolving it. His charm worked, and the journalist dropped the story. Meanwhile, users like Zhou continued to wait anxiously, receiving only generic replies from customer service urging patience. Behind the scenes, Gerald's behaviors grew increasingly secretive. He traveled extensively, refusing to disclose his whereabouts, leading to some suspect that he was hiding from something or someone. By January 2019, Zhou and countless others were still waiting for their money. The situation was unraveling rapidly, setting the stage for one of the most shocking scandals in crypto history. Unexpectedly, a shocking piece of news broke this morning, a mystery tied to the death of a CEO. Gerald is dead. His wife, Jennifer Robertson, issued a statement explaining that her husband had traveled to India, contracted Crohn's disease, and soon after passed away at the age of 30. The announcement sent shockwaves across Canada and the cryptocurrency world. Questions immediately arose. Why go to India? How could a healthy 30-year-old suddenly die? What exactly is Crohn's disease? And the most critical question, what happens to his company and everyone's money? Soon after Gerald's death was announced, the cryptocurrency exchange he owned ceased operations. CX company issued a notice stating that all cryptocurrency encryption keys were known only to Gerald, meaning that $190 million in funds were now locked away, inaccessible to anyone. The CEO had seemingly taken the wealth of countless people to the grave with him. This revelation caused an uproar. For instance, Zhou Tong, upon hearing the news, felt a wave of suffocating despair, nearly fainting on the spot. If this were true, he would have lost a total of more than $400,000. Once he recovered, he had a pressing question. How could a major cryptocurrency company not have safeguards in place to prevent such a scenario? It didn't make sense. Zhou found others in a Telegram group discussing CX scandal, where victims shared their stories and frustrations. The group began piecing together Gerald's final days in India. Some even speculated that Gerald might still be alive, fabricating his death. Their reasoning, Crohn's disease is typically not fatal. It's primarily a digestive condition with a low mortality rate. Why would a healthy young man die from it all of a sudden? Furthermore, inconsistencies emerged, such as misspelling of Gerald's last name on his death certificate. This led to suspicion that the document might have been forged. Adding fuel to the fire, a screenshot from Gerald's Skype account surfaced, showing activity from his webcam after his supposed death. This strengthened the theory that he had faked his death and vanished with the money. Attention then turned to Gerald's wife, Jennifer. While she claimed to have no involvement in the company's operations, documents show that she was listed as a legal representative for the firm. Her behavior at Gerald's funeral, described by witness as having pretending to grieve, only deepened the suspicion. The funeral was unorthodox. No one was allowed to view Gerald's body in the casket, and Jennifer allegedly hosted a celebratory party afterward. Investigation into CX finances revealed another shocking twist. Most of the company's funds had been moved into cold wallets, and the keys were now missing. Users' deposits become inaccessible. With no concrete answers and mounting suspicion, the case remained one of the speculation and heartbreak for investors. The central mystery persists. Where's the money? If Jerry truly faked his death, has he successfully escaped with a fortune? Or is there more to his tangled web of deception? In the end, the money's whereabouts remain unknown. Even if it could be tracked, it's no longer helpful. People became increasingly convinced that Gerald faked his death. The whole incident felt more like a scam or an act of embezzlement. Now, the mission returns to its starting point, finding Gerald. But locating a man of average stature with indistinct facial features in a sea of billions is nearly an impossible task. Gradually, unverified rumors began circulating online. Some claimed Gerald had transferred the money to Bermuda, found a local plastic surgeon to change his appearance, and assumed a new identity. According to these speculations, he was somewhere on Earth, likely never intending to return. As the story progressed, it became increasingly bizarre. Public investigation reached a standstill, and victims turned to official channels for help. One of the group members, nicknamed Bearded Guy, contacted the Canadian Federal Bureau, seeking assistance in locating Gerald. Shockingly, their response was dismissive. If he's fled, let it be. We'll catch him eventually. The indifference was deeply insulting. Fortunately, the police weren't the only authority capable of taking action. Since the case involved significant financial sums, the Ontario Security Commission, OSC, launched its own investigation, focusing on tracking the missing funds. CX had been a rising star among Canadian enterprises, and the OSC had been closely monitoring its operations for years. According to Daniel, the OSC representative, CX initially appeared compliant, employing accountants and lawyers with proper records of all transactions and business activities. However, after 2016, things took a turn. Records became incomplete, making the investigation exceptionally challenging. As the probe deepened, Daniel uncovered a troubling lead. During CX operations, large sums had been transferred to overseas cryptocurrency exchanges. This raised serious questions. Why would one exchange transfer funds to another? Was Gerald laundering money for others? Money laundering often involves organized crime groups via networks or drug cartels. Could Gerald have connection to such entity? If true, Gerald must have accomplice. For most people, Gerald was the sole founder of CX, but a key investigator stumbled upon a critical detail. The original domain registration for QuadrigaCX wasn't under Gerald's name, but registered under someone named Michael Patron. Michael was a crucial figure during CX early days. With this lead, the investigation team reached out to an early CX employee, Andrew. Andrew recalled his first day at the company vividly. He stated that during the introductions, Michael referred to himself as the company founder, speaking before Gerald. This suggested Michael's position might have been even higher than Gerald's at the time. Michael had entered the cryptocurrency industry as early as 2003, operating various exchanges and online casinos, and later consulting for similar businesses. Andrew described Michael as a dominant personality, muscular and a man of combat sports, while Gerald was more of a subordinate, timid, and differential. Gerald always laughed at Michael's dark humor and echoed his opinions. Meanwhile, journalists at the Globe and Mail made a breakthrough. A user on Reddit uncovered that Michael had changed his name and had a criminal record. Under his original name, Omar Danani, he had been active in California as part of a shadowy identity theft, laundering money for the group. Comparing his old mugshot with Michael's current photos, investigators noticed identical scars on the left forehead, confirming they are the same person. By February 2019, when CX ceased operation, user contribution had totaled $215 million. Despite leveraging all available resources, the OSC could only account for $45 million. This led victims to speculate that the missing funds were in Michael's possession, and that he and Gerald had conspired from the start. Public outrage grew, with calls to uncover Michael's location at all costs. Then something dramatic happened. Michael reappeared, causing an uproar. Facing accusation, Michael clarified that he had left CX in 2016 after a heated argument with Gerald and had not been involved with the company since. He claimed that CX continued to operate successfully without him, much to his dismay. Michael appeared calm and confident, deflecting criticism skillfully and maintaining his image as a legitimate businessman. He even sided with the group's suspicion, asserting that Gerald was likely still alive. One user asked a key question: what did Michael know about Gerald's wife, Jennifer? Surprisingly, Michael claimed that he didn't even know that Gerald was married, adding that after leaving CX, Gerald became increasingly secretive. On the surface, Michael's statements seemed plausible. However, they also hinted at a deeper mystery yet to be uncovered. Gerald and Mike seemed like people from two completely different worlds. Gerald was a smiling tech enthusiast, while Mike was a tough guy with a criminal record. How did they end up working together? Through Michael's digital footprint, investigators found a website called Talking Money, a forum dedicated to analyzing investment scams. Michael was a frequent poster there. They also noticed a user named Sept, who interacted closely with Michael. By tracing Sept's activity, investigators discovered that he was behind at least 2 online scams that caused significant financial losses. One of these scams, involving promising high returns to lure investment, only to collapse and disappear with the funds before resurfacing under a new name. The tactics were eerily similar to what had been seen with Gerald, leading investors to suspect that the person might actually be Gerald himself. Meanwhile, the Globe and Mail reporter also started focusing on this. Further investigation uncovered that Gerald had been involved in fraudulent schemes since he was 15. After successfully running a few scams, he began recruiting programmers through Black Hat World, specifically those skilled in Bitcoin and website development. His goal? To launch a cryptocurrency exchange. Within 3 months, QuadrigaCX was born. From its inception, it was designed as a scam. This shocking twist shattered any remaining trust in Gerald. Even the most optimistic supporters realized that his clean image was a facade. At this point, everyone agreed on one thing: finding Gerald was the key to solving the mystery. And Globe and Mail dispatched reporter Nathan to India to investigate Gerald's alleged death. Upon arrival, reporter Nathan went straight to the hospital where Gerald's death was declared. The doctor there vividly remembered the case, as foreign patients were rare in Jaipur. He recounted that Gerald arrived at the hospital at 9:45 p.m. with his wife, Jennifer, suffering from severe vomiting and diarrhea. Gerald's medical history included Crohn's disease, and the initial diagnosis was acute gastroenteritis, likely severe food poisoning. The next day, Gerald's condition worsened rapidly. By 2:45 p.m., he suffered cardiac arrest. Although resuscitated briefly, his blood pressure remained dangerously low, and he was placed on the ventilator. By 7 p.m., Gerald was declared dead. The doctor's detailed account seemed credible, and when shown a photo of Gerald, he confirmed his identity. However, some people doubted Nathan's report, questioning why a seemingly healthy 30-year-old man stayed in luxury hotels would die so suddenly. The lack of an autopsy fueled suspicion of foul play, with some speculating that Jennifer might be involved. This theory gained traction when it was revealed that 2 weeks before his death, Gerald had updated his will, leaving everything to Jennifer, including significant real estate investment. Critics questioned why a man so young would prepare a will unless he knew something was about to happen. Further investigation into Jennifer revealed that she had changed her last name 3 times in 2 years. The investigator also uncovered a connection between her former surname and the suspect of an unsolved murder. As suspicions of foul play swirled, the OSC released the official report confirming widespread fraud within QuadrigaCX. Gerald had created fake accounts, falsified balances, and stole customer funds. For example, when a user purchased cryptocurrency on the platform, their account reflected ownership, but the coins didn't actually exist. Gerald transferred users' money to offshore accounts and used it for personal cryptocurrency trading. The exchange was nothing more than Gerald's personal piggy bank. While many saw tenfold or even hundredfold returns during the cryptocurrency boom, Gerald managed to lose $150 million despite handling massive funds. This evolved into a large-scale Ponzi scheme. Gerald used money from new investors to pay off old ones, enticing more people to join. The Achilles heel of any Ponzi scheme is a mass withdrawal of funds. In 2018, as Bitcoin's value plummeted and the entire crypto market began evaporating, investors scrambled to cash out, triggering a liquidity crisis. Gerald, now more like a firefighter running from blaze to blaze. If Gerald had disclosed the situation earlier, authorities might have intervened. However, with his death, no trial could be held, and victims' money disappeared into the void. Jennifer's sister, furious upon learning the full extent of Gerald's deceit, felt betrayed for defending him so staunchly. Worst of all, Gerald left Jennifer to face the fallout alone, someone who had trusted him completely. This marked the end of QuadrigaCX collapse saga, or so it seemed. Post-bankruptcy, Ernst & Young, one of the big four accounting firms, was appointed as the bankruptcy trustee to investigate and recover lost funds. However, they made a grave error. They mistakenly transferred 100 Bitcoin into QuadrigaCX cold wallet, a wallet no one could access since Gerald's death. This effectively locked the funds permanently. EY ceased updates on the case by January 2021, having only recovered $40 million, but in December 2022, the supposedly frozen Bitcoins were suddenly moved. EY denied involvement, leaving only two chilling possibilities. 1. Someone had cracked the wallet after 4 years. 2. Gerald faked his death. For victims, the better advice was to write off their losses as gone forever to find peace of mind. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime business partner, described FTX debacle as a mix of fraud and delusion. These high-profile collapses underscore systemic issue in centralized exchanges, which thrive on trust but often exploited. However, these disasters may inadvertently benefit the crypto industry. As centralized exchanges fail, they pave way for stronger regulatory frameworks and push the ecosystem toward true decentralization. Ultimately, the lesson from QuadrigaCX and similar cases highlight the importance of vigilance, transparency, and decentralized principles in shaping the future of cryptocurrency.